Radio, I have some amazing news about Jimmy's life. It is sad, but what he went through. But I heard, those who have heard Jimmy's voice on the EVP, it's raspy. You know, it's like very type noise, and it's how he speaks on the EVP thing. I've heard when I got when I was doing the car EVP with the one where I was sitting in the car and I went from each one. Jimmy spoke and he said hi or hello, and it wasn't in the raspy voice. And then on Saturday, the last Saturday gone, I was coming home from dropping Lucia off. I'd spent a lot of the day with Lucia, who was visiting here. It's one of my little godchildren. And when I was driving back, I was just at the intersection, and I heard in the seat right beside me a boy's voice say hello, like hello, and it was that same voice I'd heard the previous time. It wasn't the raspy voice. And I started thinking that Jim's got two voices that he uses. I've actually also heard his voice, his non-raspy voice, in the EVP as well. I can't remember which one it was, but 99% of the time in the EVPs it's been his raspy voice. And but there was something I got in an EVP. I haven't even posted it because I'm still looking for that particular one, because I didn't really think much of it at that time, you know, because I didn't know who to put it to, you know, which. But I was doing it. I just did a random EVP. It was probably about 3 weeks ago, and EVP session, and I got the distinctive sound of breathing from a life support machine. That type of breathing, kind of machine type breathing, like that type of thing, you know, kind of. It was, as soon as I heard it, I knew what it was straight away. I worked in a hospital for 22 years. I kind of knew what that sounded like, you know, respirator, ventilator, I should say. And I knew exactly what it was, but I never put two and two together. I never clicked. And then after I heard that voice last Saturday, I was like, I wonder if this young fella Jimmy had been on life support before he had passed away after his accident. Because Michelle, who looks after them, she lives in America and she looks after them. She's really good. They'll actually go and see her. They talk to her. She said that Jimmy has a very sweet voice, and I thought, oh, Jimmy kind of has a raspy voice, you know, kind of thing. And I thought, oh well, I guess that's what she must mean. But when I heard Jim's other voice, yeah, he does have a sweet voice. And what happened was, I started putting it all together, because I remember also Michelle said when she did Jimmy's first reading, she said he's in a car accident, and it was similar to Daniel's type thing. So I thought similar, which means it wasn't the same. I didn't know whether he had been killed in that car crash or whatever, but he said it was similar, where Daniel had passed away in the crash. So I thought, okay, there's something different. And this is way back, going back over a year, when Jimmy first arrived. And so I thought about it quite a bit. I thought, I'm just going to ask Michelle. I'm going to ask her. I said, can you have a talk? I asked her if she could have a talk to Jim. And I let her know what I was thinking and the evidence that I had got with the ventilator, the sound of the ventilator breathing and stuff. And I said, could you please have a talk to Jim and see what you can find about that? Because I've been hesitant to find too much out about Jim, because he kind of he's at peace with being in spirit. He doesn't mind. He's at peace. He's quite happy. He likes being a little spirit boy. He enjoys it. I don't know whether he's a little bit shy to cross over to God yet, but he's just happy. He's happy. And so I mentioned all this stuff to think. She's, I'll have a talk to him. And then she wrote all the stuff down. She said 6 days. He was on life support for 6 days. The reason why you hear his raspy voice a lot is because the raspy voice will come out when he's low in energy. And that's probably caused by him playing all the time, because they're always playing. But she said when his energy's high, he's got a lot of energy, his voice is his natural voice. So he has a natural voice before the crash, and then he has a residual voice after the crash. And like with Daniel burns my hands, and that's because it's a residual thing. They're not in harm. Like Jimmy's no way in harm, having harm-free speaking like that, not at all. They're not. It doesn't harm them, but because they are still connected to who they were in life, they still carry residual stuff. Yeah. So Daniel, because what Daniel went through, he will give my hands a good singeing, and he gives me cuddles and stuff like that. And that's just, he doesn't. Like I could get him to stop that just by saying. But I said, if you want to do that, it's okay, because I'm so used to it as well, even though it does hurt sometimes, it burns, but it's a way that he can communicate with me. So if he wants to get my attention, even if I just start randomly talking to him, he'll start heating my hands up and stuff, and I'm like, oh, and then I know he's reacting with me, but I've been told that no, they're not in pain, they're not suffering or anything like that. It's just something. It's like something happened in their life, so they've just kind of carried the thing. But yeah, and I was just so blown away by Jimmy's little story. I knew something was there going on. And it was the same with Daniel. When I adopted Daniel, he had a little biography that came with Daniel. They all have little biographies if you adopt them. It just gives you an idea of who they are and just, some of the stuff they've been through. The lady I adopted Daniel from had in her biography, that Daniel was a 13-year-old boy. And I thought, okay, I adopt a little teenager. I've always wanted to adopt children, but I always thought it would probably be human children, But instead of adopting children, I kind of just looked after other people's kids. It was really fun. I got to be a kid myself, with the kids I used to look after. I turned them into I turned Kobe into a video game freak and a Star Wars freak. Everything. It was just, I just loved it. I loved it. It was great. Had so much fun. And when I started to get EVPs from Daniel, I realised that if this is a 13-year-old boy, he has a very little kid's voice. I thought it was very strange. I got my landlady to listen, and she goes, "Yeah, he sounds very like he's very young." And it didn't make any sense. I'm like, this is so weird that this little fella's 13. I thought he's not. If he's 13, he's using a younger voice, because it made no sense. It wasn't until I got a reading done by Michelle, and Michelle had just when she was just doing his reading, I said, "How old is he?" And she said, "He's around the age of 7," and it clicked straight away. And I was like, I knew it. I knew this little boy was a lot younger than 13. He was not a teenager. I knew that just from hearing his voice, him calling me daddy and stuff like that. He didn't sound like a 13-year-old. He had such a little kid's voice, you know, and it just confirmed it. It said no. So it's amazing how these kids can give me information through EVPs and stuff like that. Also, was it last night? Oh, we just finished watching it was last night. We just finished watching The Bad Batch. I got The Bad Batch, and episode 8. We'd finished watching it. I had put the kids to bed. They have a bed. Their bed's made on top of the big lazy boy chair, so they go there. And when it finished, I just randomly said, "Did you kids enjoy The Bad Batch?" And I heard a voice, not in the chair where I usually have them sitting right next to me, or sitting on my bed where I thought they might be watching the thing, but I heard a voice over where their little vessels are in their bed. It was a very high pitch little kid's voice. It wasn't Daniel's voice. It was not Jimmy's voice. I'm guessing it may have been George's voice, because George is 3, and Aiden's, well, Aiden is Daniel's kind of, he didn't make it in birth, but he had stayed with us. Aiden had been around his mum and dad, because their whole family all lost their lives together, and Aiden was born, so Michelle was able to bring them, and I have permission to look after Daniel from Henry and Anna Sullivan, and they are Southern Baptist Christians, and yeah, and in the real world, that if they heard of this story, they'd be like, "What the heck? No, that's not of God," kind of thing. They kind of have changed now once they realise, oh my gosh, the spirit world's very different, you know. And they've gone over. They were here for a very long time. Time's nothing to them. Time is nothing. There is no time for them. It's just experience. It's just it happening. It's like, you know, there's no time. That's why they can linger for hundreds and thousands of years, and then finally cross over and think nothing of it, because time's nothing to them at all. There is no time. There's only time in this thing because we have time, and also we get old as well, so that it's usually the aging thing and the product of time as well. Where they don't have that. My little children are still the ages they were when they passed. There is no time for them. They just enjoy life, having fun. And yeah, and so that's why Jimmy has his raspy voice. And I thought that might have just been his voice, because in the beginning, because I thought it's a bit different, you know. But when Michelle said he had a really cute voice, I knew there was something's happening here. But I couldn't put my finger on it till I heard the respirator. and I don't even know if I still have that EVP. I'm going to see if I can find it, because I know I had just gone through a couple real quickly that I had sitting on my thing, and if I didn't hear anything too definite, I just deleted them, and they may have gone, which is a bummer. But yes, so that's a mystery solved there. So of why Jim speaks like he does, and what happened to poor little Jimmy. Hey, poor baby. But he's okay now. He's happy, and I try to be a good dad for him. His dad never treated him very nice at all. He wasn't very nice to little Jimmy. So I look after little Jimmy. I love him very much, and he's very happy. They're all very happy. They're very excited. Jimmy set Ernie off yesterday, and Sarah Lynn hasn't set her violin off for a couple of weeks now, but there was one day she did set it off during that time, and she actually made kind of a tune. It wasn't just beep or beep beep, it was kind of like beep 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 beep, like that. And for her to make that noise, she'd have to use the energy, because the buttons are certain sounds, and there's one button works, the other button doesn't work, and the other one kind of like plays a song. So she made her own tune out of using her energy to manipulate the energy, the power buttons. So she was effectively actually playing it, making that little tune, though it was short. So I'm very proud of them. I love them very much. I love them very, very much, and I will always take care of them. And they know that they have their freedom. If they want to go home to God, they have my blessings. They can do that. I'll be very sad, of course, but it's not about me. It's about them, and I will always love them, care for them. And Jimmy has his big huge dinosaur in bed with him. He's got his dinosaur blanket. The story about that's very funny as well. Is what happened was, I was pushing the kids in the swing, and Jimmy was in the swing, and no, actually Jimmy wasn't in the swing. It was one of the two babies. It was either George or it was Aiden, because I was talking about their blankets, and I was pushing the swing, and I said, only the babies get their own blanket, because George has his monkey blanket, and Aiden has a little green blanket, little wraparound blanket. They're travelling blankets, and he looks like a little caterpillar, and he's in it. And I said, only the babies get blankets. And then I said, hang on a minute, you are all my babies. So when I asked Michelle, I said, could I get a little reading done? And Michelle's so good, getting a special reading done, something like that. Oh yeah, I'm doing them for $5 at the moment. Oh, sweet. She does such good deals, and she's their doctor. She's my children's doctor, Michelle. She takes care of them. They'll go to her if they need help or something like that. It's amazing. And she's always looking after them. She gives them, they have sessions, they have their own healing sessions. I got 12 months sessions for them, so they get it every month. They have a session for 12 months, and the sessions are for healing. The baby doesn't need healing, because he'd spent no time at life. He wasn't born. He lost his life in the womb. And that proves one thing, that Christians will be excited about this. It proves that yes, the spirit does go into the vessel, into the baby, into the tummy. The spirit is in there while the baby's in there. So he kind of lost. Yeah, there was his umbilical cord had strangled him, and he didn't make it. He was stillborn, and now he's back with Daniel. Life took took him away from his little brother who he would have had, his older brother who he would have had, and now they're together. Now they're together again. Daniel is so rapt. Daniel and Aiden and George always play, and Sarah Lynn loves playing with Aiden and George too. They're good kids. But we had, so I had the baby, the boys, and then Sarah Lynn, they were all having their swings. I came to one of the babies and they had their blanket. Yeah, and then when I said to Michelle, I said, could I please get a reading for Jim? I just want to find out what he wants for his birthday, because I'd want to, I want to get them what they want. And it was so funny. She said, Jimmy would like a blue blanket. And I'm like, what? A blanket? And like, this is only a little, what, 2 to 3 weeks before I'd mentioned that you're all my babies and you can all have a blanket. He's asking for a blanket. Michelle knew nothing about that. She doesn't know a lot about a lot of this stuff, but she'll communicate it back to me, and I'm like, oh my god. So I know they're talking with her. And so what I did was I got Jimmy a blanket with a dinosaur on it, as well as this big dinosaur, and I got them a big huge shark, which I'm going to get a photo of them sitting in the shark's mouth. It's a big sleeping bag for them. And yeah, so well, I'm going to wrap this up anyway. So it was a great time telling this story about young Jim. And yeah, well, thank you very much for those who take interest and supporting my little children. I don't get any money on YouTube or anything like that. It's not like that. For me, this is all about just sharing my children's life experience. As little spirit children, it's all about them, just sharing our happy times and stuff together. So thank you to everybody, and see you all later.